Okay, friends and neighbors, this is DK with Mr. V Amps, and we have a turntable. And this is a Panasonic MCS series. That whole MCS thing was JCPenney's house brand. Model number is 6832700. And anyway, it kind of worked, I already did the evaluation on it. I still need to clean the dust rabbits off of it. Initially, the platter didn't spin and the belt was disconnected. Oops, that was not glued down. That's okay. But the belt was just flopping loose in there. I did hook it on and I found the motor wasn't turning, so I put a little splash of the Max Pro Electronics lubricant in it, and that got the motor going, and now it works, but this belt is fatigued. I mean, if you take a belt off of the motor on a belt drive turntable and you lift it, I mean, that belt should, stay around the rim. It should have some kind of spring to it. So the belt is shot, and then in attempting to make it play a record, the cartridge that's on here is a Shure RX P3. It's one of these. It's a P-mount cartridge with a little half-inch Adapta-Majig on it, and this stylus is completely flummoxed. I only really got decent sound out of one side and minimal sound out of the other, and it couldn't track a record worth a hoot. So the turntable, or the stylus, is definitely shot, and possibly the cartridge. So I just got a stylus and cartridge for it that I'll be happy with, because I don't like those adapters for P-mount to half-inch. There are adjustments for speed and things on here. See, there is a speed adjust if you need to tweak it a little bit, but I think it'll probably be okay. At this point, I just want to clean the goobers off of it, and then we'll set it up. Okay, so I've got the worst of the schmoo cleaned off of it. The old cartridge is still there, and I got a parcel here from New Jersey. There's a vendor there that I get a lot of my turntable stuff from, and hopefully I didn't misorder. This is a fan steel turntable belt that should fit a very, very, very high percentage of these. There kind of was a generic standardish size that they used in the 70s and 80s. So I'm going to cross my fingers that I got the right one. This one seems a little wider than the one that was on there, but it seems like it's okay. Let me make sure it's going to fit over that. It does. So this is probably closer to the original belt than the one that was on there. And it's going to involve a little bit of finagling to get it to stretch around there. So let's just get it on the table and then see what our speeds are like. Okay, granted, I know this isn't the most accurate way to get started, but it'll at least tell me. So 33 is actually running at 45, and 45 is running at 61. Yeah, that ain't right. Time to tweak it. Okay, it turned out my bad. I had the belt a little bit high on the inner circle. I had it a little high, and it was actually riding up on the ridge of the pulley rather than on the middle of it. So this is what it actually should have been doing out of the gate, rather than running way too fast. It's running just mildly slow, and our 45 is also just mildly slow. We're close. Okay, so a little bit of adjustment there, and now I'm happy enough. Now we got to deal with the cartridge. This is, like I say, this cartridge, this Shure cartridge, is going in the junk bin, and we're going to be putting on, I know the super hi-fi guys are gonna grit your teeth, but don't, because this is not a super hi-fi turntable. It's a respectable turntable. I mean, it's a respectable turntable. And our cartridge we're going to use is AT3600L. I have used these on a number of refurbishment, turntables, and it's a good sounding cartridge. It sounds good. The stylus isn't crazy expensive. They put the bolts in the kit, so if you don't have the right size bolts, you don't have to go fishing. Just a nice general replacement cartridge. So we're going to put that on and then we'll get it aligned. Okay, so I've got it aligned. As far as alignment goes, I have a protractor here, and it's a mirrored protractor, and this isn't some crap I printed out from the internet. You actually put your stylus right on point A there and line up the body of the cartridge, and then B and line up the body of the cartridge, and it is very tweaky. You will be doing this over and over and over again, swearing and coming back to it again, and at some point you'll get it where it's just good enough. It might be just a minuscule amount off, but you kind of just live with it, and you could spend half the day trying to get it perfect. You just want to get it really good, and then play it and see what you get. So now we got to do Stylus Force. Oh, I'm sure somebody's going to ask me where I got that protractor, and it came from a business that is no longer with us. It was called Lyle Cartridges, I believe. If I remember right, this cartridge is supposed to be about a 2.5 gram cartridge. So I'm going to set my stylus gauge. You set that to 125, and let's see. Yeah, let me double check what the tracking force spec is for this cartridge. Okay, tracking force for this cartridge is between 2.5 and 3.5. So what we do is we just set the teeter-totter there and place our stylus on the inner one until the little teeter-totter lifts and lines up, and it has not, so I need to add some more weight. Let's try about that. Nope. Try a little bit more. There we go. So this little teeter-totter has a little mirror, and it tells you when you're lined up. I'm a little heavy. I am too heavy. I'm too far out now. Or am I heavy? No, I'm lined up really good. That's actually almost dead on. Now, with the way that this mat is, going to be at the bottom of the scale. Still a little on the heavy side. Let's back her off a little more. And this is an old Shure product. Again, most of these I picked them up back in the 90s. So that's about right. It's about 3. Or back it off just a touch more. It's a little lighter. It's about 2.75, so I'll just put the dial at 2.75. That looks about right. Double check it again. Yeah, that looks good to me. Okay, so we've got our tracking force within the range. We've got our cartridge aligned within reason, and I guess the only thing left to do is to check the anti-skating and see how that goes, and I have a tool for that too. Okay, and for setting the anti-skating, I use this grooveless record. It's got like frequency sweeps and stuff like that to actually like test and kind of give your cartridge a workout, I guess. But in the middle is a ungrooved area which works pretty well for setting anti-skate. Yeah, it was automatic. It was on cancel because I ran it to the middle. So what you do with it is you drop your stylus down, and by default it's going to want to race to the middle. I don't know if you caught that. and you can turn up the anti-skate until it no longer wants to do that. So you kind of want it to hang out in the middle of the record. If you bump it in, it'll go in a little bit. If you bump it out, it'll go out a little bit. So that's actually about where the anti-skate needs to be. See, if it wasn't there at all, it would just race to the middle. So pretty straightforward, I think. Okay, so now we've come to the portion where we demonstrate our turntable working. It works, it sounds fine, but because of YouTube, if I were to play you any songs you knew, we would immediately be struck down and attacked by the mob of, copyright fanatics. So, like we normally do, we find something very obscure, an international polka record, and here you go. And our cancel function and shut off automatically does work properly. I suppose we should test 45 too, just for posterity. Okay, well, I think it's all fixed, and there you go. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.